Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Bigger Bite. We take a deeper dive into some of the movies and television series coming your way today. Today's panel includes Bitesize founder Nick and the ever-lovable Shak. Welcome back, guys. Glad to have you on for this. And if you haven't already, remember to like, subscribe, and follow everything over here at Bitesize Breakdown. I didn't fuck it up this time saying it. But no, this movie is, I think we could all argue, something we never thought we'd get 22 years later. Like, the original movie's old enough to drink now. Stop and think about that.
Brother, the amount of times I wrote this in my review, but like the amount of times I've seen fake Freaky Friday 2 posters on Facebook for decades has been insane.
Exactly. It's just like I mean, people wanted it, but realistically, like what story could you tell? Because they fixed their issues essentially.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to like? How are you supposed to do a sequel?
They go like the Mega 2.0 route. They're like, oh, we got to stop clothes of ourselves by becoming the other person.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
But, like, we nobody knew how they could pull this off. And, you know, I may have been this series' best friend because 22 years later, let's do this again. Disney's like, hey, Lindsay Lohan's been on like a nice little just rebrand, taking back her life. Like we all know, we won't go into it, but we all know what she went through shortly after this film and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen came out. Like life went off the rails as it does for a lot of child stars, and she has, in the last 5 or so years, done a fantastic job. Even if the movies haven't been the most quality, she's done a fantastic job beginning her renaissance. And I feel like this film is realistically the first real step going forward in that renaissance. And I feel like that's why Disney felt comfortable enough to say, you know what, let's do this. And I know a lot of people feared that this would be a movie they felt should have been on Disney Plus. I've got to say, this movie made you feel like, yeah, I deserved to have been made and released in theaters. And I had the biggest smile on my face a lot of the time. Were there a couple cringe moments in Act 1-ish? Yeah, but it's still finding its footing. But overall, it's just a very nice successor. Keeps it the same premise, but updated and fun. At times, it's funnier. I rewatched the original before I went into this film. And just the nods and homage it even pays to the original film along the way were just great. I absolutely adored this film. Nick, what were your thoughts on it?
Man, I'm so happy with this movie. You nailed it when you said like you had a smile plastered across your face the whole time. Like, yeah, I grew up watching the Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan 2003 film. And I can't say I was clamoring for this, but I did know that there was a rampant fan base. When I released my top 10 box office predictions for the summer, I had Freakier Friday in it because I think people underestimated how well this movie was going to do. We'll see how that turns out. But I even said that not knowing if it was going to be really good.
I agree.
Like, man, it's really good. Like, I really enjoyed this movie. I just, like I said, smile spread across my face the entire time. It was feel good. It was emotional. It was funny. And like, I may not be ready to start casting Lindsay Lohan in a bunch of big theatrical films going forward, but this is easily the best thing she's done since her comeback. And it gives you hope that like that may be a possibility down the road. But it's really good. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is great in this. She's probably my standout, but I really enjoyed this film. When we were talking about bigger bite episodes to come, this was one I was really pulling for because, as Shak saw, because I went to the same screening as Shaq. I just wanted to talk about this when I was done because I was just giddy. I was joyous. I was just happy about it.
Shaq, what were your
It was fun.
thoughts?
Yeah, no, like I have no nostalgia. Like I have no real. Like I remember watching it and going the original and going like, "Yeah, it was cool," but having no memory of it aside from fucking "Take Me Away," like the song from the movie. Anything else couldn't tell you shit. So like most of the references are like ones I was like, "Oh, I vaguely remember this." Um, but like when it came down to like the second one as a movie, yeah, I also liked it. I was shocked that I liked it. I had rock bottom expectations. I was expecting to hate it, but I was expecting to go like, whatever, cool. But like, it's pure shenanigans, and the shenanigans, most of them worked. And I will say that like for me, it did for a while. It did look like a like a made for Disney
Yes.
Plus thing, especially in like you said in that first act. I'm like, this is not great. When Lindsay Lohan at the beginning is like with Harper, like going like, "Oh, I'm respecting your space," and I'm like, "We're doing this Gen Z slang bullshit." Um, I will say also that I liked that the fortune teller, like Vanessa Bayer, her being like the replacement for like the very Orientalist thing from the last movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank God we switched this because that was already pretty bad back then and got worse now. But I like those characters are still there and they have like their own little funny bit for like 1 second. Um, but yeah, having her instead, and especially being like having like 18 million different side hustles, I'm like, this is great. But yeah, no, this movie is really, really fucking funny for the most part. And even when it comes down to like the actual emotion of it all, it worked. It's charming as hell.
You know, it's very emotionally resonant, and that's something I wasn't really expecting from this. Like Nick, you said Jamie Lee Curtis was your standout. I would agree. However, I knew this film was going to live and die by Lindsay Lohan, and there were so many moments throughout the film. You saw why in the early 2000s people were predicting her to be one of the next big stars in Hollywood. I don't know if you guys read this, but she was doing an interview with Entertainment Weekly, and she was talking about the flirting scene with ex Flame Jake.
Oh,
And
Chad Michael Murray, the
yes,
return.
yes, but there were she improv most of that scene because apparently the original script just called for her to like flip her hair a couple times, but like the getting on the table and the lip, but all that was improv, and I was fucking dying during that scene. I'm just like that. I'm like, if she's doing stuff like that, that's just speaks just so much to the talent she still has and that she's starting to channel again, and why I would be excited to see her in other films from major studios going forward. It's almost like a Robert Downey Jr. situation where Robert Downey Jr. The insurance price on him was so high when Iron Man was coming out because of his history, and you could probably say the same thing considering it was a similar story for Lindsay Lohan, and she's getting her shot again. And maybe after the three Netflix films that she did and this, that's where we're heading. And I would be down for that because she still looks pretty damn good. She still looks young. She's like it was weird to the first time I'm truly being reintroduced for her or to her being the mother of a 16-year-old, and I was like, or 15-year-old. I was like,
You're like, wait a minute,
my
there's
brain,
no compute.
exactly, because like, I mean, think about it. The last time most of us saw her, she was still just a teenager, and
No,
now
I would say the last time. What was the last time I saw it? It was probably Machete, but Machete, she's in it for like 5 minutes.
She's in the Mean Girls musical for a hot second.
Oh, I didn't watch that. Man.
That's her.
It's a fucking musical.
That's her. That's the last time I saw her. I think the best way to describe how Lindsay Lohan's career trajectory could have gone is with the show Shake It Up. She could have gone Zendaya's route, and she could have gone Bella Thorne's route, and she started going the Bella Thorne route, and now she's kind of back in the middle. And I don't know if she can get to the heights of Zendaya, who's like one of the top young actresses working today, but I think if she starts to lean more in that direction and do more serious roles, because Zendaya is a great example that the early career was almost entirely comedy, and she's really gotten away from that. And I think Lindsay Lohan shows that she has the comedic sensibility in this film, but she also showed that dramatic actor capability early on. And that's what I'm waiting to see. That will kind of tell you where her ceiling is. Is she going to be like a Katherine Heigl, for example? Like just a comedic actress who's just in some stuff. She'll be in like, your 27 dresses and all that kind of stuff. Maybe she ends up with a TV show. Or is she someone who shows she has dramatic chops and then can become more like a Rose Byrne, where she can do both pretty consistently. So it's really the check's still out on Lohan for me as to what she's going to become, but this is easily the strongest case she's made that she can become, a notable actor. Maybe not A-list, but at least B-list.
So real quick, the last like real known movie she did. Any guesses?
No.
Scary Movie?
Yes, Scary Movie 5. That Charlie Sheen scene.
Yes, I know exactly what scene you're talking. God damn it!
With the big erection.
Garbage movie.
And before that, like the last real leading role she had was Just My Luck with Chris Pine.
Yeah, in 06.
Yup. 20 fucking years ago.
Yep.
Good, yeah, but
and I'm not here to like hype up Just My Luck as some great movie, but I've seen that movie. She showed all the same sensibilities she showed in Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen and Mean Girls and the original, or the remake, Freaky Friday. So
I remember people's issues with that film were more so Pine, which, man, how the times have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I gotta say, like with these characters, man, Lily, like I know she's supposed to obviously she's supposed to have like one of the bigger like character changes throughout the movie, but like man, even within Jamie Lee Curtis's body, as hilarious as Jamie Lee Curtis is, she was pissing me the fuck off.
I mean, but I think that's the point.
But no, that is the point. But like, God, I was actually getting infuriated by the shit she was doing, and I'm like, stop doing, just get your shit together. God damn it.
But like, to be fair, out of every character there, she and her father, which we haven't talked about Manny Jacinto yet, which we need to because, but she and her father are the ones going through the most changes. A father is spearheading these changes, so clearly he's accepted them.
Yeah,
but she, being a teenage girl, isn't as easily or as well as one would hope. So like,
it's also my status of like now being like I won't say an old person, but like not
Shaq,
a teenager.
We over 30. We old.
Yeah, but like not being a teenager, I get annoyed as a motherfucker at the shit the teenagers be doing. I'm like, God damn it.
So quick aside. What you just said is how my friends and I introduced my friends to Shrinking. That's what they were saying. But no, you're absolutely right, and I say that because one thing media does do well is make you question: do teenagers really do that? And then you talk with people like Rue. You talk to people who have to deal with teenagers, and Rue's like, "No, they're exactly like that. Shut F them kids. F them kids."
Yeah.
But like, I had so much fun, and then the thing I enjoyed seeing was the character of Lily, whether she was in Jamie Lee Curtis or not, was you could clearly tell she is enjoying herself and opening herself up to this family more because of the body swapping situation that they're in. I will say how the switch is done. While I agree with Shaq, I'm glad the Oriental stuff is done. That was very, very weak. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't the strongest aspect.
No, I was like, so this is how we're doing it. Okay. I guess I'll roll with it. Let's see how it goes from here.
Yeah.
But how did y'all feel about Manny? Because I need to talk about my man.
That man's got the most chiseled jawline I've ever fucking seen. Jesus, like he is there to essentially be like, I mean, like he is oblivious to all the shit that's happening. Pretty much everyone is, but like when he's there, he's good. He's very good.
Yes.
Very like he's like a very charming romantic lead, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes. I just the scene that got me was when they're at the immigration meeting.
Mm-hmm. It's a funny scene,
and that was when he was at his most charming. Also.
Yeah, my only thing with that scene is that like when they do the Chumbawamba reference, it's funny, but it goes on a little bit too long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even for the joke, like even though the joke is for it to go too long, it's going even too longer than that.
Yeah. But that's also a Disney hallmark, especially in these kind of movies that they take a joke and they kind of overdo it a little
because they know kids are going to keep laughing at it, so it's to buy a little bit of time within the film itself. Although I don't know how many kids are going to get a Chumbawamba reference.
Yeah, that's
but
most people going to that theater don't know that song called "Tough Thumpin'."
Yeah,
that line is lost to them.
that was for the parents, and like I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect to hear them sing "Pissing the Night Away" in a PG Disney film.
Oh, that they'd go like. They should have just even done the rap too. Like, she used to whiskey drink, she drinks a vodka drink. Like at that point, you're like, all right, this is karaoke now.
Yeah.
But I did love going back to the story a little bit. I did love how we got the evolutions of Anna and Tess.
Okay, so this is to me the weakest aspect of the film. And it's no fault. None of this fault goes to Julia Butters, but I think the difficulty with her character, especially over Lily's, is Anna. We just don't get to establish who Anna is as an adult enough that when she's playing adult Anna, we don't really know who adult Anna is well enough that her character hits in the same way that Lily's does for me.
Not what I was getting to, but I actually agree with that. I was more so getting to the Tess being this, I'm a therapist and now I'm a well-known author. I have this podcast going on about co-parenting as a grandparent, and the natural progression of this woman who was a rocker in high school, really loved music, working in the music industry. But yes, those that you just skip that where you skipped to where I was leading, but yes, I agree with you. Shak, your thoughts?
Yeah, I do agree to an extent, but it's also I came to the concession that it's not their story. It's Harper and Lily's story, and they're just essentially using Anna and Tess's bodies to tell that story. So
and that's why most of your jokes are about aging and like I had the metabolism.
But when they said bone density, I fucking died laughing. That was great. She also busted her ass in that fucking when she crashes the fucking ice cream truck. I'm like, that's some great physical comedy right there. But yeah, no, it's because it's not their story. They don't need to be in it as long. But I do wish they had a little bit more to do in the meantime. But that's when I'm like, I'm fine with that, with it being as it is.
Their stuff really shines in the one-on-one moments, like
exactly.
Anna with Harper and Lily with Tess. That's when these young actresses, and I'm a big Julia Butters fan. Thank you, Quentin Tarantino. I will forever thank you for discovering that young woman. She is a delight. I loved her in The Fabelmans. That's like I'm a big Julia Butters guy. And just especially we had a moment early on in the story where when Lily and Harper are finally opening up to one another, but then Harper just shuts off. Like, I feel like if I talk about my mom, I'm giving away what I have for her, so I don't want to talk about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she talks to Tess about her mother, and that's that moment you realize, like, where she is really opening up, because she's like, my mother would be so disappointed in me because I after already done this thing I wanted to do, now I don't feel like I should. I feel horrible because I've never seen my dad this mad outside of when my mother died. And that has made me realize how selfish I was being. Like, I do appreciate, I think it's a nice juxtaposition, because you see with how close Harper and Anna are, how how Harper is easily able to is easier able to accept the changes that they're going through once she's talking to Manny Jacinto's character, whose name is slipping my mind right now. And compared to the Lily, who also has this test, and she hasn't really opened herself up to Anna yet, and I think it works with Tess not being the mother, but still an adult in this family, is why she's able to open up like that a little bit more.
Also, the character's name is Eric.
Thank you.
But
no, it's Jason Mendoza, and it'll always be Jason Mendoza.
I'm sorry, I'm particular to the stranger.
No.
Okay.
But no, like that, when she gets that moment to just have with Tess, that was like the real turning point for me, for her. Not, unfortunately, it happens more so towards the end of the film, but still just great.
As we're talking about kind of the emotional moments, I do want to single out one of my favorite moments in the movie, which is something that would have been so easy for a lot of directors to look at and go, we need to cut some time, we'll let this scene go. And it is the scene where they check on how Mark Harmon's character is doing. I love that scene.
Yeah,
I love that scene so much.
We had talked about this, and like Mark Harmon, he's not in it much, but the time they use him is so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much, and it's Lily that approaches him in that scene. And it's really the only time in the whole story that you get to see growth from Tess. Because a lot of the movie, he's kind of pushed to the background. He's not really acknowledged. It's almost like she's kind of taken the marriage for granted, as opposed to what we got in Freaky Friday. And this is where she's checking on him, but she's doing it to him in the form of this outsider, this new member of the family that has never given him the time of day, and why would she? And it's this resonant, it's this emotional, and like I said, it would have been so easy to cut that scene, but it's one of the most heartfelt moments of the entire film. I love, it sounds stupid to say, I love Mark Harmon's performance in that.
Yes.
That he says barely anything, and you feel all the weight of all of these characters, and that he basically puts it all on his shoulders, and he's just like, I am here as like a support beam. This is how I've always been. Story, and this is also kind of never my story, and I'm okay with that.
Well, it's very similar to the moment he has in the original, where he's like, I'm not trying to be made the villain. I want to be a part of this family, and this is how I get to be a part of this family.
Yeah, it's so authentic to the character. Like, it's the same thing of the conversation he has at the rehearsal dinner with Tess at the beginning. And he was like, I could say the right things to make Anna like me. I want Anna to like me organically and genuinely. And it's just, as you watch these two movies, because just like you, Matt, I watched the 2003 one 2 nights before seeing this just to refresh again.
I think it's 3 nights for me, so yeah.
He's the thread. He is the thread that makes this entire family story work and never gets the credit. And them giving him that credit, and it being from Tess without him realizing it's from Tess, I love that scene. That is my favorite scene. This
just the fact he gets to share his worry about Tess. Like, my biggest worry is that if they leave, she doesn't know what she's gonna do with herself, and
Yeah.
that scares me. And that's a pure love, pure husband moment.
And he's saying it to her without realizing it. I love this scene so much. It sounds so stupid when the year comes to an end. And I
That
think
might
of
be
my
one of your
favorite
favorite
scenes
scenes.
in
Oh
a
my
movie.
god! All right, now you're doing a lot.
No,
I get why he says it though.
I get it, but I cannot go that high.
Like
with
the
you,
two,
brother.
the two scenes that come to mind for me. And remember, I saw Sinners late after all the hype, so it struggled to live up to it. The two scenes for me that stick out, and
You
they're
also
both.
didn't see it in theaters, so there's a difference there.
That's true. And the two scenes that stick out are both viewed as probably relatively inconsequential scenes in the movie. And it's that scene with Mark Harmon in Freakier Friday, and it's a scene with Matthew Lillard in Life of Chuck. And those are the two scenes that stick with me more than anything. And it's just because of they're subtle, it's what's said, it's the weight of the situation. And a lot of movies bypass those moments. And it sounds so stupid that we're saying this for like what very well could have been a Disney streaming film. But there's more heart in that moment than a lot of movies I've seen this year. And I was so impressed by it.
Speaking of that, I will say it has been kind of a down year for movies. Like I was on with my buddy Kuto. I'm like, this may crack my top 5 as of right now. Now that I'm thinking about it,
y'all are going insane. I'll say that.
But
I won't say it's in my top 5, but like
I said Mike. I haven't officially put it there, but
it
Mike,
is
just because of the heart behind it.
Yeah,
like the heart this film has is ultimately what won me over. It's why that's why I'm so high on Superman, because of the heart that movie has and how it makes me feel when I'm leaving. Like, this and Superman are two examples of how I feel like you should be leaving after a movie. You should be feeling some type of emotional resonance, whether that be a film like Queen and Slim, where you're supposed to leave feeling angry, or a film like Superman or this, where you're supposed to leave feeling hopeful or happy. Like, those films stick with me more. They may not be as good as other films. When it comes down to how I'm gonna rate a movie, if I have those feelings just still buzzing in me the moment I think about it, and if I think about that film and I'm feeling it, it makes me happy. Like, movies like this are what give me the ability to put it on a top 10-ish list. You know what I mean?
Well, there are so many movies now where you just emotional resonance. Like, when I say this, I mean like big popcorn blockbuster type stuff. But emotional resonance doesn't always play a part.
No, it doesn't.
And like,
yeah.
A great example is look, they're visually spectacular. All the superhero stuff is really cool. Two of the most impressive things about both the Spider-Verse movies are Miles' relationship with his dad and his uncle, and I was going to say Haley, but Spider-Gwen's relationship in the second one. And those are what make the movies interesting. And like, you get the origin stories, like in the live action, you'll have like Peter and Aunt May or Uncle Ben, and there's Tony and Peter in Infinity War and things like little moments, but things that are part of the story and like really fulfill it and fill it out. Too many movies are just kind of bypassing that for the spectacle, and it's what makes other movies stand out. Like, I'm not here to say Freakier Friday is one of the best movies of the year,
right?
But in terms of enjoyment, it's gonna be in my conversation of, let's say, like my top 20 by year's end, probably, in terms of films I enjoy. And that's not that dour and grief-stricken films aren't good in the same way. Some of them are very emotionally resonant, but like a film like Gladiator, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed Denzel's performance. Paul Mescal was fine, but like...
Oh, you meant Gladiator 2? I thought you meant the first one.
Gladiator 2. But I didn't leave that with that, like, emotionally affecting aspect of it.
Like, here, Sinners, Shaq. I left Sinners feeling so, like, it was an emotional resonant thing for me, and it was just seeing our culture just respected in that way just put me on a whole nother level, and that's why it's still been my number one this year.
That's still the number, brother. At this point, there's nothing that's beating for me. It's like it's locked. Everything else is running for second place. But
you get what we're saying?
I 100% get what you guys are like. What you guys are saying is like in terms of even just like some that I like purely enjoy. It's still, I don't think it will be in my top 20, but it's still, that doesn't mean that it's a bad movie in any way, shape, or form. I think it's really, really good. It's doing it's succeeding at its goal better than a lot of movies have tried to this year. I'll say that.
Yes.
Because I've seen movies that be like, oh, we're fun and light, and you're not. You're trying a bit too hard. But this one it works for what it's doing.
Quit trying too hard. That's what I have to say to films nowadays.
It also doesn't necessarily need to be light. It just has to have a purpose for its darkness. Like, I am not here at all to promote or speak highly of Angel films in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, no.
But I saw the movie Sketch before Angel had any attachment. Amaru, who writes for us as well and has been on the show, he just said it's one of his favorite, biggest surprises of the year. He gave it 4.5 reels. He loved it. He's a teacher. There is an underlying aspect of that with children where it is a story of grief, but it has that same emotional resonance that like a Freakier Friday does. And there's so many, especially of these kids' films. And this is why Inside Out hits as hard for people as it does. And Toy Story hits as hard for people as it does. You tear up. You feel something. Like, it hurts. Like, I don't remember how old I was when I watched Toy Story 3. I'll do the math, but, I was an adult.
That came out like 2012, 2013. So you were a young adult there.
I think it was 2010, but I could be mistaken. But, like, still, young adult.
You are 2010. You are correct. 2010.
Not expected to go to an animated movie and emotionally be affected, but like because of all the building they did in those original films, it's not just nostalgia when you're thinking like, yo, they're gonna kill these toys in an incinerator.
Yeah,
like, you feel that
like a full-on suicide pact.
Yeah. And that's why, nothing against like the Elio and the Elemental and things like that, which are fine kids movies, but there's many.
Do not besmirch the name of Elemental.
Are you an Elemental head?
So at the time, I was dating the daughter of someone she was one of the first generation in her family to be born in the U.S. So like, because of who I dated and the experiences I had, that film hits you a little bit differently. So no besmirching the name of Elemental.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, it hits. Look, Rue again. Rue likes Onward more than anyone I've ever met in my entire life.
I'm actually probably right up there with Rue.
What?
I don't get it.
When you are a brother, like the age gap between those characters and Onward is very similar to the age gap between me and my own brother.
Yeah, but like that's gonna be. I feel like we're gonna go to a whole other side thing.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, it's all Disney. It's all Disney.
I do not fuck with Onward.
Well, but also the differences in those brothers' personalities are very much the same as my own brother. My own brother and I have very few things where we get along, but when we do, we ride with it. But otherwise, we are completely different people, and people wonder how we're related.
But all that to be said, like, the emotional resonance is important, and that's something that I think is the strongest aspect of Freakier Friday. As we get back to the film, we're actually talking about.
Before Shak keeps being shocked by these revelations.
Onward, Bigger Bite coming soon, featuring Shak and Amaru.
Fuck off! It'd be me just going, man, this is kind of mid.
It'd be one of the few times you see Rue just like getting up on his high horse and be like, no, we ain't saying that. But no, I mean, I will say this. When it comes to their family films, Disney still does a very good job of making their audiences care. Excuse me. Whether that be the live action Lilo and Stitch remake, which some people cared about more than others, or Freakier Friday, just or Onward or Elemental. Like there's always gonna be some aspect of those stories that hit people a little bit more than some more than others. And I think that's what makes, even though they're doing some things I don't agree with politically right now, that's what makes some of these studios special. And Disney does a great job of capturing the human experience in fun, goofy, silly ways. And that's what they've made their hat. That's what they've built that company on. That's why you had these amusement parks across the world. That's goal is to make you feel like a kid again and bring you into the worlds that you care about so much. That's why you get films like this, and it's why I will continually just enjoy the theatrical experience. So, but,
yeah, I co-sign with that. Like, I'm glad I got to see this in the theater.
Yeah,
the people I saw it in the theater with were very clearly enjoying the film, and that
Mhm.
feels good when you go into them. And like that doesn't always happen at critic screenings.
oh, it doesn't.
No.
It really doesn't.
So when it's a critic only screening, like when you get that, most of us are people that either grew up or are too old to have grown up on something like Freakier Friday. When you have that reaction from a room of grown adults, that means you did something right.
Mhm.
And I think in this, they did something right. And do I think there's a chance that we get a Freakiest Friday at some point down the road after this? Yeah, I could see it happen. And if they
I
make
feel like
it as good
I
as,
feel like that would be pushing it a little bit.
No, because all it is waiting another.
You're gonna have 6
20
bodies switching each other.
No, you're still only going to do 4 because unfortunately one of these ladies will probably no longer be with us.
Oh yeah,
Because it's going to be another 20 or so years. If Jamie Lee Curtis is still here 20 or so years from now, I will be happy and amazed, but I'm not counting.
I don't think, if they can come up with a story, I don't think it's 20 or so years. Because don't forget, these are based on books, and there are 3 books, I believe. And they kind of blew the second book with a tease at the end of Freaky Friday, which was the grandfather and the son switching.
Oh, okay.
So you could do something where Manny does the switch with someone. Like there are ways. I'm not saying this is something that's needed, but if they make another one and they make it as good as this one, I will gladly go and see it in the theater again.
Here's my issue. I would agree with you, but ultimately, I think we can now say this through 2 films. The draw is Jamie Lee and Lindsay Lohan.
Yes, and that song. That song's a banger,
song's
man.
It is
22 years later.
It's the only thing I remember, and that song is good. So like,
bro.
And I didn't think we were gonna get like a full performance of it again. Man, they hit the exact.
They were
same
absolutely going to. That was like the one thing they were absolutely going to keep, no matter what.
Yeah, wait. We haven't talked about this as much as I really wanted to. Bringing everyone who's alive from the first one back, essentially. Every named character from that first film came back.
In a way that wasn't like, hey, remember this person over and over again. Like, even with Chad Michael Murray, his appearance feels still is essential to the story.
Yes.
And he's not crowbarred in. And I will say, at the very end, I didn't realize that, like, the girl he's with at the wedding, that she's wearing the dress, that fucking
same haircut. Yeah.
That's one of those things I'm like, okay, what's the big deal about that? Until I looked at clips again, and I'm like, oh, that's the same dress. Okay.
Same dress, same haircut.
Same haircut and everything.
Glasses.
I'm like, oh no, he's still, yeah.
But also like Anna's friends that still doing Pink Slip, natural progression.
Mhm.
Pink Slip became something, but Anna became a mother and chose her daughter over it.
Mhm.
Just the fact that the brother, she's getting married. He gets like 2 quick moments on screen. One, you pop him up. One, he says a line.
But it'd be weird. But it'd be weird if he wasn't there. So they put the thought in. Yeah.
But nothing felt ham-fisted, shoved down your throat. It all felt natural within the story itself.
Yeah, the only thing where they took a little bit of creative liberty, if you think too hard about it, and like I'm aware it's a kids' film, you got a suspension of disbelief a little, based on the fact that they apparently stayed together for a minute. You would think Chad Michael Murray's crush on Tess, when she became real Tess, and he was the mom of his girlfriend for
Yeah.
quite some time, he'd be like, "This is a different lady. Like, I'm not
No.
into her
He's
anymore."
still in it. He's
No.
still in
He's
it.
still in
He's
it.
still in it. Still in it.
He's
Listen,
still in it.
crushes like that don't go away easy.
Hey,
But that's-
Mrs. Coleman.
Exactly. But I think we've done a good job nailing this film. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I know some other people who aren't on this screen who can't defend themselves did not.
Oh yeah, I just realized. Yeah.
But this was a real a fun time, and I hope more people see it. I mean, it's tracking for a $30 million opening weekend, which I think Disney considers a win, and it's realistically its only competition is The Bad Guys 2. And what do you think parents are going to take their kids to? The Bad Guys 2, or hey, this is something that I could potentially enjoy along the way.
Think from my childhood
that I can share with them.
With positive word of mouth, I think this is going to stay in theaters for a long time.
I think it's got to like the end of September.
That's coming out. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is going to, like I said, this was on my list of summer blockbusters and of summer box office. And I feel more confident after seeing it.
I feel like this one must
it'll be there.
Yeah, I don't think it'll do big. Like, obviously, it's doing 30, which is good. But I think it's going to be one where its legs are longer than most other movies because there's not that many family options available. And plus, nostalgia, people will be shilling that money for that nostalgia, so they're going to be there regardless.
It only had a $45 million budget.
Exactly, so they're going to be fine.
This movie's going to be profitable quickly. But yeah, I mean, this was great, and I had a great time with you guys again. Before we get out of here, Shak, where can the good people find you, sir?
You can find me on all social media at Shak Excellence. It's SHAK Excellence. And you can find my writing and reviews over at cgmagonline.com.
And of course, you can find Nick on the Bitesize website and here on A Bigger Bite. And you can find me here on A Bigger Bite and my personal YouTube channel, Walkville Entertainment. So go check those out. But with that, folks, signing off. I am Matt, that is Nick, that is Shak, and this was another Bigger Bite. We'll see you next time.